The story begins on a sheer vertical rock face. We are introduced to three experienced climbers: Becky, her husband Dan, and their best friend, Hunter. The sun is shining and the adrenaline is pumping. They are free climbing, relying only on their strength and trust in each other. They joke around, showing how comfortable they are with danger. However, nature is unpredictable. As Dan reaches for a hold, a bird suddenly flies out of a crevice, startling him. He loses his grip. In a split second, the joy turns to horror. He falls, leaving Becky screaming his name. Despite the safety rope, the anchor gives way under the force. Dan plummets to his death while Becky watches, helpless. This opening scene establishes the brutal reality. Gravity doesn't care about love. Fast forward 51 weeks. Nearly a year has passed, but for Becky, time has stopped. She's a shell of her former self. She spends her days drowning her sorrows in alcohol and pills, unable to process the grief. She has pushed everyone away, including her father, James. James tries desperately to reconnect with his daughter, suggesting she needs to move on, but Becky reacts with anger. She feels that moving on would be a betrayal of Dan's memory. She is stuck in a dark hole, and she has no intention of climbing out. Just when it seems Becky is past the point of no return, her old friend Hunter reappears. Hunter has dealt with the grief differently. She has become a thrill-seeking YouTuber, traveling the world and chasing danger for likes and views. She comes to Becky with a crazy proposition. She wants to climb the B67 TV tower. It stands over 2,000 feet high, twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. It is scheduled to be demolished soon, making this their last chance to conquer it. Hunter believes that if Becky climbs this tower and scatters Dan's ashes from the top, she will finally find closure and conquer the fear that has paralyzed her for a year. Initially, Becky refuses. The thought of climbing makes her sick. But after another lonely night of nightmares and drinking, she realizes she cannot keep living like this. She agrees. The two women drive out into the remote desert. As they approach the structure, the music turns ominous. The tower is a skeletal needle piercing the sky. At the base, they see a vulture eating a dead animal, a grim foreshadowing of what awaits them. They ignore the no trespassing signs and the danger of death warnings. They are here for a mission. They begin the climb. The structure is old. The metal is rusty, and the bolts rattle with every step. The sound of the wind gets louder the higher they go. They start on an internal ladder within the lattice structure. It's physically exhausting, but Becky pushes through her fear, motivated by Hunter's infectious energy. About halfway up, they switch to an external ladder. This is where the danger becomes real. They are now completely exposed to the elements. The wind whips around them. At one point, to lighten the mood, or perhaps just to show off, Hunter playfully shakes the ladder. It's a terrifying moment that highlights the difference between them. Hunter treats this as a game, while Becky is fighting for survival. Finally, they reach the small platform near the top. But they aren't done yet. To get to the very peak, above the blinking aviation light, they must climb a narrow pole. Hunter goes first, filming herself with a drone and selfie stick, performing dangerous stunts for her online followers. Becky follows, terrified but determined. At the very top, the view is breathtaking. For a moment, the fear vanishes. Becky takes out the small bag containing Dan's ashes. With tears in her eyes, she releases them into the wind. It is a beautiful, cathartic moment. She cries, letting go of the pain she has held for a year. They take a few photos, celebrate their victory, and prepare to head back down. They think the hard part is over. They are wrong. Becky starts the descent first. She steps onto the rusty, external ladder. Suddenly, a screw pops loose. Then another. The metal groans under her weight. In a heart-stopping sequence, the entire section of the ladder breaks away from the tower. Becky falls. The rope catches her, slamming her body against the metal structure. She is dangling in midair, hundreds of feet above the nearest solid platform. The ladder that connected the top section to the rest of the tower is gone. It has crumbled to the ground below. Using all her remaining strength, and with Hunter's help pulling the rope, Becky manages to scramble back up to the small platform. They are alive, but they are trapped. They are stranded on a tiny metal grating, 2,000 feet in the air. The ladder is gone. Their bag, which contains their water and the drone, has fallen onto a satellite dish about 50 feet below them. It is just out of reach. To make matters worse, they have no cell service at this altitude. They are too high up for the signal towers to reach them. Becky also realizes her leg has been deeply cut during the fall. She is bleeding, terrified. As the adrenaline fades, the reality sets in. They try to drop a phone with a message in a shoe, hoping the padding will save it, but the phone shatters on impact. They spot an RV camper down below and try to signal them with a flare gun found in the emergency box on the tower. The men below see the flare, but instead of helping, they steal Hunter's car and drive away. It is a crushing moment of hopelessness. Night falls. The desert temperature drops and the wind picks up. Huddled together for warmth, Becky notices a tattoo on Hunter's foot. 143. It's a code Dan used to use for I love you. Suspicion grows in Becky's mind. She checks the videos on her phone and sees footage of Hunter and Dan looking too close. Under the freezing stars, the truth comes out. Hunter confesses. She and Dan had an affair for 4 months before he died. She was in love with him too. This revelation shatters Becky. She's stuck on top of a needle in the sky with the woman who betrayed her. The emotional tension is now as high as the physical danger. Hunter apologizes, explaining she backed off because she loved Becky, but the damage is done. The next morning, the sun is blazing. Dehydration is setting in fast. They need the bag on the satellite dish below. It has the water and the drone. Since Becky is injured, Hunter volunteers to climb down the rope to get it. It is a suicide mission. The rope is barely long enough. Hunter descends carefully. She swings back and forth, trying to hook the bag with her foot. She misses. She tries again. Finally, she unhooks the rope to make a desperate jump for the bag. She lands on the dish, grabs the bag, and prepares to climb back up. But climbing up a rope with just your arms, while dehydrated and exhausted, is incredibly difficult. Hunter struggles. She slips. She screams. She tries again. Eventually, we see her reach the top, gasping for air, collapsing onto the platform next to Becky. They drink the water greedily. They use the drone to send a message to a nearby motel, asking for help. However, the drone's battery is low. They have to wait hours for the perfect moment. When they finally launch it, a truck on the road below smashes into the drone just seconds before the driver can see the note. Their last technological hope is destroyed. Days pass. Becky is fading. She is weak, delirious, and starving. A vulture, sensing death, attacks her. In a moment of primal survival instinct, Becky catches the bird, snaps its neck, and eats it raw. The protein gives her a surge of clarity. And this leads to the most shocking moment of the film. Becky turns to talk to Hunter, but Hunter isn't responding. Becky shakes her. Suddenly, the camera shifts. We see the satellite dish down below. Hunter's body is still lying there, broken and bloody. We realize the truth. Hunter never climbed back up. She fell to her death days ago when she tried to retrieve the bag. Becky has been hallucinating her friend's presence the entire time as a coping mechanism to survive the loneliness and trauma. She has been all alone on that platform for her. The realization breaks Becky, but it also frees her. She knows she has one option left. She must go down to Hunter's body. She uses the rope to rappel down to the dish. She lands next to the decomposing corpse of her former best friend. Becky finds Hunter's phone. It has a tiny bit of battery left, but she needs to get the message to send. She needs the phone to reach the ground safely, but throwing it will break it. She looks at Hunter's body. She whispers a tearful, "I'm sorry." In a gruesome but genius move, Becky puts the phone inside Hunter's shoe and then pushes Hunter's body off the tower. The body plummets 2,000 feet, acting as a meat shield for the phone. Down below, the body hits the ground with a sickening thud. The phone vibrates. Message sent. The final scene shows the authorities arriving. James, Becky's father, rushes to the scene. He sees a body bag and fears the worst. But then he hears a voice. Becky is sitting in the ambulance, battered, bruised, covered in blood, but alive. She embraces her father. She has survived the fall, both literally and metaphorically. The movie ends with her looking at the tower one last time, finally ready to let go of the ghosts of her past.